Hi, my name is Trevor. Today we're going to be doing a lab which involves putting together an extension cord and installing two receptacles onto the mock walls that you guys have already built. So before we get into that, I just wanted to talk about some of the material that we're going to be using in the two labs, or in the lab that we're going to be doing today. So I'll start off with the wire, okay, that you should have right over here. This is a roll of 14-2 wire. Okay, it's white cable, and when you take a look at the inside, there's going to be a white, a black, and a bare bond. Okay, that's the wire. The second type of wire, depending on what you received, you're going to see SJOOW, and that stands for Service Junior Oil and Wet Weather, outside wet weather. Okay, so the smaller one has got the J that's rated for 300 volts. The bigger one, and if you got this one, it's not a problem. This is going to be just SOOW. It's not junior, and that's because it's going to be rated for 600 volts. All right, we'll talk about the plugs. So this is a 515P. P stands for plug. You're going to see two different styles. These are effectively the same style, it's just a different case. Okay, so this is going to be the male style, and then you're going to see your female style. Okay, so that's the 515P plug. Those are going to go with the cab tire, commonly referred to as cab tire. Okay, but we're going to call it SJOOW. Receptacles, we got a 515R. Okay, so there's two 515Rs. Okay, this one here, the rectangular one, a lot of people think of that as the European receptacle, but that's called the Decora. Decora stands for decorator. This one over here, I just thought I'd have this out here. This is also a 515R receptacle, but this is a GF5 type receptacle. And it's got the reset button in the middle. So those are the receptacles. Okay, obviously we got screws. Okay, so we're looking for wood screws somewhere between 1/2 inch and 1 inch. And the boxes. So this one here is a 2104 box, metal box. And part of the box, you're going to see internal clamps. When you grab your box, you're going to see internal clamps. And you'll know it's a 2104 because it's welded. So when you take a look around, the whole thing is welded. Okay, and it's got a label, most of the boxes, and they'll even say 2104 on the label. Okay, the side of the box has got two pieces that are sticking out that are quite sharp, and the idea behind that is you would hammer this side of the box into a stud, and these two sharp pieces would secure into the stud, holding it in place until you got a couple screws in. 2104. This box, a little bit bigger, metal. Okay, this is a 2004 box, and it's also got a label. Okay, this box also has two pieces of metal sticking out the side, and that's going to be for securing to a stud when you hammer the back side of the box. You'll notice with both of these boxes you have a metal piece that has been folded out of the box, and what that is that's a guide. And I'll show you this a little bit more when we get into the actual lab demo that I do. This guide is here just so that the box projects out a certain amount beyond the stud to account for drywall. This also has clamps, it has bonding terminals, and we'll talk all about that when we get to the lab. Okay, we have our new tech, and this is called an airtight. Some people call this box a weatherproof box, and that's because it's got the weatherproof seal built around the front face of the box. And you also have a foam piece that is stuck onto the box, and that's in place over where the cables are going to be inserting into the box. You puncture through the foam, put your cable in through where my pen is sitting. Okay, so this is effectively going to do the exact same job as either of those two boxes. It's just more for outside walls where you need a weather barrier. This is a new tech vapor barrier. All right, so we have on an outside wall, you can use the new tech airtight box, or you can use the vapor barrier with, say, a 2104 box. Okay, and this with the vapor barrier, the box with the vapor barrier is equivalent to this box. So you're going to get single gang vapor barriers, and when I say single gang, what that means is a single gang is a single receptacle. Okay, so these are all examples of single gang boxes. You're going to be able to get 2 gang, 3 gang, 4 gang. Depending on how big the box is, you can get larger vapor barriers. You can even get vapor barriers for octagon boxes and square boxes and all sorts of different sizes. Since I talked about the vapor barrier, I'm going to talk about the tuck tape. Okay, so you're going to use tuck tape with the vapor barrier. So once you put this on and then the poly goes over top, typically we would tuck tape between the vapor barrier overlap and the tuck tape to create that airtight seal. These 2 boxes right over here, these are octagon boxes. Okay, and they're very close to the exact same thing with a noticeable difference. Okay, so this one over here, this is a octagon box and it's a 54-151L. This guy is a 54-151LB. The B stands for bracket. Okay, it's got a bracket on the side for mounting to boxes or mounting to studs. This one doesn't have a bracket. It's just got a guide very similar to those boxes. But they're going to achieve the exact same thing. You're going to secure this box to a wood stud, or you're going to secure this box to a wood stud through the holes on the side of the box where the bracket is. They have integral clamps. Both of these boxes, the inside are the exact same thing, and those clamps are for securing the 14-2. Okay, so these boxes, these octagon boxes, and that's what most tradespeople call that, is they are used essentially for the mounting of lights, smoke detectors. Some people use those for mounting transformers for doorbells, and that's what we're going to be using it for. All right, this guy here. This is a Leviton lamp holder. You put a light bulb in there, medium base light bulb. On the back side, you're going to see some different colors. You're going to see brass and silver screws. Okay, the brass screws, that's where the black wire goes to, and the silver screws typically is where the white wire goes to. This is a very temporary light in construction. These lights are typically installed until the paint is complete, and then once the paint is complete, they'll be removed, and we're going to put in a normal light fixture. Sometimes these go into crawl spaces, but if you throw these in a crawl space, you have to be aware that there's a good probability that the bulb could break from somebody's head because it's a very short space. Okay, right over here, this is an octagon box cover. So if we use an octagon box for an application as a junction box, you're going to need to cover the wires, and you would just put a blanket cover on there. These are cover plates for receptacles or switches. So here's your receptacle. It's a Decora 515R, and you're going to throw the cover plate on when you're all done. This is a cover plate for a 515R standard normal grade receptacle. Wire caps. You're going to see different types of wire caps, different colors as well. I prefer the Ideal style wire cap. That's the brand name. You can also get Moret style wire caps. They all work. The nice thing with the Ideal ones is these will be capable of connecting multiple wires of different sizes. The Moret brand, sometimes you have limitations. 40-40 connectors, so anytime 14-2 cable has to go into a 4x4 box or a octagon box that does not have an integral clamp or a panel board, you'd have to use a 40-40 connector. And I'll demonstrate the use of this a little bit later in the labs. And then this is a set screw 1/2-inch connector, and the idea behind this is you can use this for 14-2 and MD90, or if you needed to attach a cab tire to one of these octagon boxes, you could utilize this clamp. This can be used for more than one cable, up to 2 of the 14-2 cables, or you could use this even for a cable larger than 14-2. And then we have staples. You got S1 staples and you got S2 staples. So S1 staples, okay, you're going to notice are a little bit smaller than the S2 staples. These staples are for securing 14-2 cable to a wooden stud. An S2 staple is going to be there for installing a 14-3 or 10-3, that's a slightly bigger wire, to a wood stud, or you could use an S2 staple for installing two 14-2 cables to a wooden stud. Electrical tape, always handy to have, and that's the material that we're going to be needing for the first lap.